It's that time again. Save money now and buy these Nintendo Switch games before it's too late. I have years of experience buying games at the end of past console generations for cheap prices, and now some of them are worth hundreds, if not thousands. So I've spent hours going through the full Switch catalogue to let you know which games I feel will go up in value and the reasons why. Stick around until near the end of the video, as I've included a bonus item that isn't quite a game, but it's something you need to act on now and collect while the time is right. I want to thank everyone that watched the previous video in the series. Your support means a lot. We're building a great community, and I can't thank you all enough. Okay, let's get to the games. First up today, we have Neon White. This is a really stylish first-person puzzle type of shooter, mixed with a card game. It's a really strange combination, but one that works fantastically. If you're the kind of gamer that loves speedruns, this is an excellent game and one that you should be looking out for. It's one of those just one more run type games. You've got to get your time down and do things as fast as possible, choosing the right cards along the way. It sounds like it wouldn't work, but it works fantastically. And as I said at the beginning, there's a real style and substance to this one. There's also a bit of a story to it as well. It's not really the best, but the gameplay more than makes up for it. Neon White is definitely one that you should look out for. In terms of the physical, I do think because this is one of those more indie type darling games, it will end up going up in the future, but an excellent game regardless. Star Ocean: The Second Story R. So this is the first Star Ocean game I've ever actually tried myself, and I was wildly impressed. First of all, as you can all see from the trailer, and you all probably know already, the art style is a big wow factor here. It uses that 2D HD kind of style, and it really sells the product overall. This one really caught me off guard, and it's one of the surprises of 2023 for me. As we know, JRPGs and RPGs in general do tend to hold their value and even go up in value, and I don't think Star Ocean: The Second Story R is going to be any different. If you're interested in RPGs, this is one to check out, or if you're just a fan of that beautiful art style. The Procession of Calvary. This is one that was released under Red Art Games as the publisher, and it's just a really strange game. It's not your normal type of release that you would see getting a physical release. Just really strange. You're playing through the game. The graphical style and the art style is that of like a Renaissance painting. The idea behind this one is that there's a kind of tyrant that has escaped, and you're powered with trying to go after and find him. A really unique and different game. Now, with it coming from Red Art Games, it was a bit cheaper, and you can still pick this one up on sale, but I think this is the kind of thing that has just that little bit of a difference. It's just that bit strange, playing through like an interactive kind of painting, and I think it's one that we could all do with looking out for. I recently picked it up on a sale, but I think in the future this might be a strange kind of title that people are looking for the physical copy, because I'm not sure we'll get a physical copy of it again come generations in the future. So it might be worth picking this one up if you have the chance. Tactics Ogre Reborn. So again, this one is quite cheap at the minute, and I do like showing off these games that you can pick up for half decent prices at the current time. It means you're getting some kind of deal, and at least if it doesn't go up in the future, you've got yourself a good game at a good deal. But the idea is that these ones will become slightly harder to find, and you'll be kicking yourself for not getting it at the lower price. And I definitely think Tactics Ogre Reborn is one of those games. First of all, this comes from a popular publisher in Square Enix. We have seen titles of theirs rise in price after the fact when the next console generation comes along. This one is obviously an update to the Tactics Ogre series. It has brand new graphics, updated kind of game designs, improved voiced cutscenes, and the sound is different as well. Much like a couple of other titles we've talked about today in the like of Neon White, Procession of Calvary, etc., This one has a really beautiful art style, and I think this episode probably has some of the best art style in games that we've come across yet. This one looks fantastic and modern, but still has those kind of old school sensibilities if you're from that era of gamer like myself. As I say, it can be picked up for relatively cheap right now, so if you like what you're seeing on screen from the trailer, definitely give this one a go. Heaven's Machine. Okay, I'm gonna be straight up. This one didn't really review that well. I would say it's 2, possibly verging on a 3 out of 5 in terms of the gaming oddity score that we would give it, but the reason that this one is appearing in the video is because of its potential rarity in the future. We have talked about super rare games. They're one of the limited run type of companies from the UK, and they do have some really nice releases, the like of A Short Hike, Little Gator Game. They do have some nice things coming out of there. But they took a bit of a strange misstep when they announced Heaven's Machine. It was supposed to be the start of a brand new line of games for them that would be physical only, so this would never get a release on the eShop. There was a bit of a backlash from fans saying that it wasn't the best for preservation, so they've changed tact on that. And this is now the only game in that line of games where there was going to be only physical at the moment, and it doesn't look like anything else is coming down the line. So this was released by a limited company in a limited number and will never come to the eShop. So with that being the world's first ever limited print physical only Switch game, it is probably worth picking up if you're into actual video game collecting and the rarity of items rather than the gameplay itself. But if you can get it for a half decent price, the gameplay isn't too bad. It's worth trying out, but as I say, it has to be at a decent price because this one is starting to rise already on eBay and it is fetching kind of quite high prices, especially if you're from outside of the UK, so even the rest of Europe and definitely into the United States. This one may cost you a pretty penny to get your hands on at the moment, but the chances are it's probably only going to go up the way. Advance Wars 1 and 2. Advance Wars is one of my favourite franchises that's came from Nintendo. I still remember loving getting the very first Advance Wars for the Game Boy Advance back in the day, and it made me fall in love with this series. This remaster of the first 2 titles, Advance Wars 1 and 2, is a great little package. I wasn't a massive fan with what they done with the art style. It does look nice, but it's maybe just not the direction I personally would have taken it, but these are 2 great games. The reason it's on this list is because it's one of the Nintendo first-party published titles that I think maybe didn't do the best sales-wise. It was delayed due to the war in Ukraine, and then when it came out, it was so close to Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom that I think it just kind of got overlooked and forgotten about. I don't think there'll be many copies of this one around in the future, but it can be picked up for a good price at the moment. For a first-party Nintendo developed and published game, that's always a good sign that it will go up in the future. If you've never played Advance Wars and you like tactical kind of games, this one's definitely worth giving a shot, and I really think you have a chance of enjoying it because it's one of my favourites. Boulders Gate 1 and 2. So this little double pack of games for Boulders Gate released, to me it didn't have too much fanfare or anything around it. And really, this is off the back of the success of Boulders Gate 3. It has come out and done absolute gangbusters. It's won Game of the Year in certain departments. The Game Awards had it as its Game of the Year. A lot of companies had it up there high as well on their Game of the Year lists, if not number 1. And it's meant that there's been a little bit of a scramble on Switch to get something similar or to get in on the act. So having this double pack of the first 2 games was the perfect opportunity for people to pick this up and try the series. Unfortunately, at the time of making this video, the prices are already quite high on this one, so if it is one that you're thinking of picking up, it may be best to do it now rather than wait for them to go even higher. But there is a chance that once the hype from Boulders Gate 3 dies down a little bit, that this will also drop, so it's about weighing up your options here. But it's another title that I think will probably hold its value, and it's interesting getting this on the Switch when there's such a furore around the new 3rd game in the series. it's nice to have something from that series that's getting a lot of hype represented on the Switch. And it's time for our bonus item. I always try to give a bonus item, as I say, usually some kind of physical item that's not a game that's worth picking up or collecting. And this week's one is a really fun one. I do remember picking this up back in the day. I'm looking at my couple of boxes of it now on my shelf, and it's the Super Mario Brothers cereal. The reason this is a cool collectible, well, one, obviously it's a Nintendo themed item. It's a little bit odd, a little bit strange, but the best thing that they done was that they made this an actual scannable amiibo. So within the packaging for the cereal itself, there is a little chip that acts as if it's an amiibo. So if you can scan it, you can register it, and it does work as a fully functioning and fledging amiibo. And it appears, I believe, as a Mario amiibo, if I remember correctly, but it's just a fun and interesting little thing to have. If you collect amiibo, obviously you're going to want to try and pick this one up because it'll go really nice with the collection. It's so random having it sitting on the shelf. I've got my Super Mario Brothers amiibo sitting, and then next to it is a box of cereal. So it's just a funky, strange little collectible to have. It really kind of sets off that amiibo collection. You can pick up boxes of this still on eBay. Obviously some of them are just the empty box, which is fine, that works as the amiibo, but you can still get some kind of sealed boxes with the cereal inside, which I'm sure is completely out of date by now. Keep an eye out for this one. If you see it for a good price, it's a fun little collectible to have on the shelf. Thank you all very much for watching. It's a pleasure bringing these videos to you. The last couple of ones have done really well, so I just want to thank everyone that's watched, that's liked, commented, and subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.